What is everybody hating on the new BMW M5? Do people not like the fact that you get this M effect in the ambient lighting? Look at that. Oh, that's very M, isn't it? So despite that, you look at anything online where people are discussing it, and it's just negativity everywhere. What's wrong with people? I guess people just don't like change. But BMW has had to make a change to keep with the times. But at least they haven't changed the engine. It's still a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. That didn't change. I guess people just don't like the fact that BMW has had to add one of these to the car, a place where you can plug it in because it's a hybrid. But I'm gonna find out if people are wrong to hate on this latest M5 by performance testing it, weighing it, and sticking it on a dyno to see how much power it really makes. And because BMW are known to lie about those things anyway. I'm Watson, and you're watching CarWow. In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 good things about the new BMW M5. Then I'm going to tell you about 5 bad things about the new M5. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to give you some alternatives that you might want to buy instead of it. But before that, let's kick off with one obvious benefit of this new car being a hybrid. So go on, pop the bonnet. Yes, so we've got this 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. It's got 585 horsepower. However, it's mated to an electric motor, and combined the total power output is 727 horsepower and 1000 newton meters of torque. And that drives all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now that's quite a lot of power, isn't it? But is it making more power than BMW suggests? Let's put it on the dyno to find out. I'm here with Mitch from AI Performance in Swindon, so we're gonna to find out what the reality is. Now, in my experience, BMWs usually overperform. Yeah, do you find that? Yeah, well this one, when I dyno tested the old BMW M5 competition, it was supposed to have 625 horsepower, but actually produced 652 horsepower. So, have things got better or have they got worse with the new M5? Here we go. Wow, look at that. Yeah, there are some good numbers. So, Mitch, this graph looks pretty blooming good. So, what have you found? She's got a lot of horsepower, a lot, and even more torque. What we've actually got on there is what is calculated today at our engine is 774 horsepower. Wow. So that's a considerable uplift over the claimed 727. And then we come to the torque. So the car is supposed to have 1000 newton meters peak torque. Yeah, it is 1000 newton meters. So, okay, today it's running 1000 newton meters. And the interesting thing as well is just that torque curve. Look how it just rises so sharply. Then it stays flat until 5,000, then tapers off. Yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts. What are these cars like to tune? Because the previous generation were pretty good for tuning. You can get to 1,000 horsepower with an engine build. You'd have to build the engine for this to get to 1,000, not for 1,000. One of these, I believe, literally by just doing a stage 1 map and very little modification to the engine at all. You know, talking and intake and exhaust, and you'll be seeing well over 1,000. And do you reckon, like BMW, when they were designing this car and building it, they worked that in, right? We're doing a hybrid. Let's make sure it's an absolute banger. Even though on paper, you look at the engine output, and it's no more than the previous generation car, you'd say that actually it's another level. It's also the electric side filling in as well. Yeah, wow. This car is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Let's find out what the reality is. I've got my specialist timing gear up here. I'm going to time it to 60 miles per hour and over the quarter mile, see what it does. Launch control, we're ready. Freaking hell, that was mental. That can go a lot quicker because of the wheel spin. Let's try again. That was brutal. That was about a launch. 3.4, 8. See? 11:37. Once again though, I think it can go quicker. This is serious. This thing is... That was a good one. This will be it. Oh, 3.52, but maybe quick on the correction. No, one more blast, 3.41. I reckon I can get it a little bit quicker, but I think that's some good attempts there. What I like about it is it's letting me launch over and over and over again, whereas BMWs didn't used to do that. That was a good one. No, oh, come on. It's getting consistent now. I think we are where we are. I tell you what though, there is something about this in the way that it just has no lag. If I just put my foot down, that torque fill from the electric motor, there's no pause when you put your foot down. Let me just put it into normal drive mode, and this is where you really feel the benefit. So you're just driving along and you want to accelerate, and it's just on it straight away. Look, you can see the battery power there in the blue, whereas normally there'd be a pause while the turbo spools up. That just fills it in and it's on it straight away. Blimey. So while it might not be quicker so far over the quarter mile, it does feel quicker when you initially put your foot down when you're driving along. It does pick up better than I remember the previous generation M5 did. For a plug-in hybrid, this car sounds blooming good. You know, rev it up. It's not bad, is it? The second good thing about the new BMW M5 is that it has uprated brakes over the standard 5 series. So at the front you have 410mm discs gripped by 6 piston calipers. Then at the rear you've got 398mm discs gripped by single piston calipers. That's for the standard iron discs. If you upgrade to the carbon ceramics, which cost about 8,000 pounds, then you get 420mm discs up front. Or though at the back it's still the same size as the iron discs. Anyway, let's see how they perform. Right, brake test from 60 miles per hour. It's a heavy old car. Let's try it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's like double leg press. Can we beat 35 meters? Wow, look at that. It certainly stops, well, 32 meters. That is really, really impressive stopping power. Really impressive. Good brakes. The third good thing about this new BMW M5 is related to the fact that it has adaptive dampers as standard. This car is super relaxing if I want it to be. I can go into electric only mode and it's silent. Well, apart from the tire noise and some of the noise of vehicles going past. That's not too loud. I can go up motorway speeds on electric power for short distances. You can do just over 40 miles on electric power alone. But it's quite nice just cruising along like this. Though, if we go hybrid, it will manage the systems better. So you get the benefit of electric power, but you've got the petrol motor, so you don't have range anxiety. Now, this thing is only averaging 22 miles per gallon, but that's because it's been ragged by a load of journalists. It's letting me launch over and over again. And really, when you think about this kind of car and what it can do in terms of performance, 22 miles per gallon is pretty good, especially when it's been in the hands of people who like to drive enthusiastically and will have been doing so to test the car for their reporting. But it is a very nice long distance cruiser. It's comfy too, surprisingly comfy. I think it feels more comfortable than the previous M5 and the one before that. Now it's like they're going more in a comfort orientated direction. There's a touch of Bentley about this car in the way that you have ballistic performance, yet quite good levels of comfort. That does mean that it's slightly less M-car-like though. Another good thing about this being a BMW, you can get a good discount through CarWow. So you can save an average of 6,000 pounds off a new M5 already through CarWow. But you might not want to buy one yourself. You see, for the first time in a long time, you might want to consider one of these as a company car. Yeah, that's right. You don't have to go with a boring full-on electric car. You could have an M5. Reason being, because it's a hybrid and can go a decent amount of mileage on electric power alone. Over 40 miles, it falls into an 8% benefit in kind tax bracket. And that means that you will pay the tax man, if you're a top rate taxpayer, £3,500 a year to have this car. Now with the old M5 competition, you'd be paying the taxman £15,000 a year to drive one of those. If you're changing your car, then you've got to check out CarWow, because there's nothing quite like knowing that you're getting a great price both when selling your old car and finding a new one. CarWow makes all the stuff that's hard work about car changing. like the haggling, the no-shows, and the nasty surprises. A thing of the past. Life-changing. The fifth good thing about the new BMW M5 is that it certainly stands out, especially if you have it in the company car park, you know. Or when you compare it to electric cars, it's definitely distinctive. And when you compare it to an electric BMW 5 Series, even the i5 M60 or whatever it's called, it's way more aggressive because you've got this big M-style grille which illuminates at night. Then you have this huge lower front bumper with massive air intakes, and all the intakes are real. Move down the side, you've got 20-inch alloy wheels at the front. At the back, they're 21s. You've got flared door mirrors. You can get it with a carbon fiber roof and stuff like that. More on that later. Then, moving to the back, you've got the M5 badging there on the rear pillar and this crazy diffuser-y thing. It's not really a diffuser, but there's a thing going on here, and quad tailpipes, plus the all-important M5 badge. Yes, and there's more on the inside. So there's the M steering wheel with the center marker there, your M tricolor stitching, your M1 and M2 pre-configured buttons, so you can quickly change modes. We've also got the M Sport seats, which are very comfy. They've got a little illuminated M5 logo there, and you can have them in this two-tone effect if you pay a bit extra. Also, you've got some M things going on here in the center console, like the red start-stop button, your different modes there with some red accents, and M on the iDrive controller. You also have some M kick plates, some M pedals and footrest, and you also get some M functionality here on the infotainment system, such as an M lap timer. Ooh, look at that. And you can get some M ambient lighting effects. Then on the digital dials, you have some M graphics as well. And I shouldn't forget this because I love this. The M tricolor here on the seatbelts. You get them in the rear as well. The thing is though, while there are lots of bespoke features on this car, they can't save the way it looks, can they? And that brings us on to 5 bad things about the new M5. I think the first one is that it definitely is the least good looking, or dare I say it, the ugliest of all the M5s ever made. Do you agree or disagree? In fact, you know what? Here's a quick recap of all the other M5s in our pinned comment. We have a system where you can vote on which you think is the best looking, and I bet this car has the least votes. The second bad thing about this car is that there's actually too much choice in terms of the driving modes, and I'll show you why. Now, first of all, we have the ability to go into the hybrid system and go for Dynamic Plus, Dynamic Hybrid, Electrical E-Control, Hybrid Operation to condition the drive for maximum driving performance. This includes I don't really understand that. But anyway, you've got those modes, and then you have your setup where you can set the car up slightly differently and then configure between those two M1 and M2 buttons. So this allows you to control the drivetrain. That would be the gearbox and engine response between Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. The energy recovery. So that's like the region braking you get when you lift off the accelerator between min, mid, and max. Then there's the drive logic. I think that might be the severity of the changes of the gearbox between Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. Then the suspension between Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. Then the steering weight between Comfort and Sport. Then the brake between Comfort and Sport. And then the four-wheel drive system between four-wheel drive Sport, and two-wheel drive. And then there's the M sound. More on that in a bit, between on and off. And I'm sure as well, where's the stability control? Let's go into the stability control. We can have stability control on, stability control halfway house, and stability control off. Is there anything else? Oh, yes there is. Then I can go into M mode and have it set up for all driver assistance and all that kind of stuff, and the screen all on. Go to sport mode, which kind of gives you the driver assistance in more sporty settings, and then track mode, which basically then brings up this, where you can then go back to changing your DSC on, off, or mid, and it will even turn off the main display when you engage M mode when you go into track. Function not available until I've got the car on. I need to move it. Just take my word for it. Okay, that was long, wasn't it? Sorry, it's the car's fault. Why don't they just give you a few settings that you can just choose between? Or no, just a few would be fine. The third bad thing, and probably the worst bad thing about the new BMW M5, and the one everyone is talking about, is the weight. Because you've got a hybrid system on board with the battery and the electric motor, it weighs in at 2,435 kilograms. But what's the real weight? Let's get on the scales to find out. It's weighing in at 2,405 kilograms, but its fuel tank is only 60% full. We need it 90% full, so we've got to add in some fuel, which comes to about 14 kilos of fuel to get to 90%. So it's a comparable number to the listed figure. And that means that we have this car weighing at 2,419 kilos, so slightly less than claimed. I thought it was going to be more. Still very heavy though. Now, the problem with weight is that it affects a car's performance in a number of ways. In terms of acceleration, it's all down to a power to weight ratio. So, what we're going to do now is compare all the BMW M5's power to weight ratios over the years. As you can see, this is the very first time that an M5's power to weight ratio has got worse with a new iteration. But there's another downside to added weight. Gotta hand it to B engineers, because this handles way better than you'd imagine a 2.5 ton car would. But ultimately, it's still a 2.5 ton car, and you can sense it, yes. And the suspension is incredible. The way it keeps the car flat through the bends, yet isn't overly bumpy either. And the car is really quick, you know. That's partly down to the rear axle steering, and then there's the performance, the way it just hooks up. And if you have it in the semi off traction control setting, it gets sideways on you pretty quickly. But there's just something about it. You just don't get the sensations from it, because the weight masks the sensations coming into your body, either through your hands or through your bottom. And so it all feels a little bit computer controlled in a way. Impressive, but not especially good fun. Just mind-bendingly quick and very capable. And it is incredible. But am I getting thrills? Probably not so much. And I was thinking about what this car's like. And it's sort of like Muhammad Ali. You know, it's a heavyweight, it's got one serious punch. Yeah, it's amazing how it can still dance around the ring. And like Muhammad Ali, it seems to lack personality. That's a bit of a shame, especially for an M car. The fourth bad thing about the BMW M5 is that you're going to have to spend on some options. You see, while this car may start from 112,000 pounds, the one I've got here is actually 134,000 pounds. Now 20,000 pounds worth of options is included in something called the Ultimate Pack, and that includes a carbon fiber roof, carbon fiber boot lip spoiler, and carbon fiber mirrors. The pack also includes adaptive cruise control, which really should be standard on a car at this price. Top speed de-restriction from 155 miles per hour to 190. Pointless on the road, but maybe handy if you go on track. This Parking Assistant Pro, which in addition to the standard camera system, allows the car to park itself automatically into parking spaces, and you can even control it remotely to drive it in and out of parking spaces with you outside the car. All features that you never actually use because it takes too much time. It even has a tow bar. That's 1,200 pounds. It's electrically operated. Look, towing with your M5, that's one hell of a flex. The towing capacity, in case you're wondering, is 2 tons. The final bad thing about the new M5 is that it just doesn't feel quite as expensive inside as the old one. Here are some examples. You used to have leather on the dash. Now you have leatherette, and it doesn't feel as nice, and it also doesn't look as expensive. Then there's the fact that the switches just feel cheaper, so especially this one here, the indicator. It's like the one in a 1 Series, which is worse than in an Audi A4. Then there's the gear selector paddles. In the M4, they're carbon fiber. In this, they're plastic. So then, what's my final verdict on the new BMW M5? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider it. You see, it has mega performance, but the added weight of the hybrid system does count against it. And with that in mind, I've got a couple of other choices that I would pick ahead of this car, and none of them are hybrids. So an Audi RS7 or RS6 is just more fun to drive and feels pretty much as quick. Then there's the fact that you could go for a Porsche Panamera GTS. Not quite as quick, but it handles better and it feels posher inside. Or why not? If you want to stick with BMW, just get an M3 Touring, which, from my point of view, is the better car anyway. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to watch some other videos, click on the video windows. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because I'll be doing some more videos with the new M5 to test its performance. Thanks for watching.